Alex, I walked into the shop this morning and the air just smelled expensive, like walnut shavings and fresh sawdust. Had a meeting with my bank account and decided to stage a protest.
That's just the smell of May 1st hitting you, Tiger. It's project season. Everyone's got a credit card in one hand and a dream of a backyard oasis in the other. Happy Friday, by the way.
Happy Friday. It's officially that time of year where my to do list starts looking more like a manifesto. But man, the tech is moving fast this year. I was looking at this new Prusa NDX rollout this morning.
Oh, the 3D printing crowd is losing their minds over that. The Core 1 upgrade? I saw the price tag jumped $250 since the prototype. That's a lot of spools of filament.
It's a chunk of change, sure. But look at what they're actually doing there. They've got this smart head that uses induction. It's basically a high-tech stovetop for your printer nozzles. Instead of having 5 different heaters all drawing power and adding weight like a backpack full of bricks, it just wakes up the nozzle the second it grabs it.
So it's like wireless charging for heat?
Sort of. It's elegance over brute force. I remember when tool changing meant me standing over a machine with a crescent wrench and a prayer, hoping I didn't strip the threads. This thing swaps tools like a magician doing a card trick. If you're doing multi-material stuff, that lack of bulk is the difference between a clean print and a plastic bird's nest.
Speaking of clean, I see Soraya Tech finally brought that Aegis coating over to the EU and Japan. People are saying it makes a resin print feel like something you actually bought at a high-end store.
That's the secret sauce right there. Look, I love 3D printing, but for a long time the parts looked, well, like they came out of a hot glue gun's fever dream. This coating is a one-part system. No mixing like you're a mad scientist in a lab coat, no bubbles. It gives a functional part that factory finish feel. It's the difference between a prototype and a product.
It's interesting that the finished look is what people are craving. Which leads me to this report from Consigli. Their CIO is saying that for the folks in construction and trades, the big scary AI isn't coming for your hammer, it's coming for your clipboard.
Well, thank God for that. If a computer wants to spend 8 hours a day doing estimating and cost analysis, it can have the job. I've lost more sleep over guessing the price of copper and 2x4s than I have over actual building.
But that's the point he was making. In 2026, we can't just eyeball a bid anymore. Material costs are zigzagging like a frightened rabbit. The pros who are staying ahead are using predictive analytics to catch those supply chain spikes before they hit the invoice.
It's true. I once bid a deck project on a Monday, and by the time I went to get the lumber on Thursday, the price of cedar had basically reached the gold standard. I ended up making about 12 cents an hour on that job.
Only 12 cents? Look at you, big spender.
Hey, I bought a very small gumball with my profits. But seriously, if you're in management, getting cozy with data isn't optional anymore. It's the only way to shield yourself when the market decides to have a tantrum.
It's the same vibe in the maker mogul world. Everyone's worried about AI-generated video and content, but that brand genius report was pretty clear. The more fake stuff there is, the more people are willing to pay for a real human being who actually knows how to use a dovetail saw.
It's the uncanny valley effect, Alex. You can get an AI to write a script about how to build a table, but it can't tell you the specific way your heart sinks when you realize you just cut your last piece of mahogany 2 inches too short. That's the human element.
So you're saying I shouldn't replace you with a TigerBot 3000?
TigerBot would probably have better posture and wouldn't complain about his knees as much. But people follow creators like Russell Brunson because of the connection. Use the AI to cut your TikToks or handle your SEO, sure. But keep the voice authentic. If you're building a brand, your mistakes are actually your most valuable assets. They prove you were actually there.
Speaking of being there, you actually have to build things this weekend. What's on the menu? I saw the newsletter mentioned end grain cutting boards again.
Ah, the old masterpiece of 1,000 glue-ups. Everyone sees those beautiful checkerboard patterns on Instagram and thinks, I can do that in an hour.
And I can hear the but in your voice.
But it's a test of patience. You're mounting the wood vertically, so your knife is hitting the ends of the fibers rather than slicing across them. It's better for the edge of the blade, and it looks like luxury. But Alex, if your table saw blade is off by even a hair, just a whisper of a degree, by the time you get to that third glue up, your board is going to look like a Pringles chip.
So basically, don't rush the setup.
Exactly. Level your tools before you level your lumber.
What about the home renovators? I saw a note about cement boards for tiling. It's not the most glamorous topic, Tiger.
No, it's about as exciting as watching paint dry on a rainy day. But listen, I've seen people spend $5,000 on hand-painted Italian tiles only to stick them onto standard drywall in a shower.
Oh no.
Oh yes, 2 years later, they've got a mushroom farm growing behind the walls because the substrate wasn't moisture rated. Choosing the right cement board is like building a house on a rock versus building it on a wet sponge. It's the boring stuff that makes the pretty stuff last forever.
Okay, let's end on the pretty stuff then. The May 2026 trend, outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. This feels like the ultimate maker flex.
It really is. It's where masonry meets mechanics. If you can combine a well-built stone hearth with some outdoor rated appliances, you aren't just making a place to flip burgers. You're basically printing money for your home's resale value. We're talking five-figure bumps in equity.
It sounds intimidating though. Mixing mortar is a long way from wood glue.
It is, but it's just a different kind of puzzle. You're working with gravity instead of clamps. There's something deeply satisfying about laying stone. It feels permanent in a way that almost nothing else does. Just do yourself a favor and plan your gas lines before you pour the concrete footer.
I feel like there's a story there involving a jackhammer and a very frustrated tiger.
We don't talk about the jackhammer incident of 2019, Alex. That's a premium member story.
Fair enough. Well, whether you're upgrading your 3D printer, diving into predictive analytics, or just trying not to grow a mold colony in your bathroom, we've given you plenty to chew on today.
That's the goal. Just remember, technology is a tool, but your hands are the craft. Don't let the shiny new gear distract you from the fact that you still have to put in the work.
Deep thoughts for a Friday. You going to go start that cutting board now?
I'm going to go stare at my table saw for 20 minutes and judge its alignment. It's a process.
Go get him, Tiger. See you guys Monday on the TigerDen Daily.
Keep building.